Hi guys, welcome to this tutorial. So today I will teach you guys how you guys can use Flex to be able to make styling in CSS a lot more simpler and make your styles a lot more accurate. So before I proceed with this tutorial, I would highly recommend that you go watch my previous video on getting started with divs, because this video is basically a continuation of that, and you should have a good understanding of divs before you watch this video. So basically in the last one I went through how using divs, which are just blocks of space, we could create a flag, an outline of a flag that looks like this. Now in that tutorial I didn't really have any problems with sizing the different divs, because this flag isn't really that complex. It's not too big of a project. However, as you develop more and more complex projects, it will get pretty hard to be able to just use the height and width properties. And this is where Flex comes into play. So today I will be showing you how you guys can use Flex to be able to style various divs in a way that is very accurate and very easy to use. So let's get building. So the first thing that I made was two parent divs. Or before that I made a parent div to encompass the entire file or the entire page. So let me make that right now. Let me make a div and give it an ID of parent div. Then let me just give it a normal background color, height and width. So maybe just give it a background color of teal for now to distinguish it. Then I know that for height it needs to be 800 pixels to cover the screen, and width should be about 1425 pixels. Now this is a div I have, right? So the next thing we need are two smaller divs. So one for the top and one for the bottom. So last time what I did was I made two separate divs and then I physically gave the height and everything. But that isn't really, it is accurate for now, but it's not a good practice since it can get very complex very easily. So the best practice is to use Flex. So what I do is in the parent div, I basically set the display equal to Flex. So it lets our computer know that we want to use the Flex properties for the sub divs. Then when I make divs inside of this parent div, so let me make two divs. Let me call one to be the top div and the other to be the bottom div. Now let's say I want to make them be equal. So I want the top one to take half the space and the bottom one to take half the space. So what I can do is that I can do hashtag top div, and first of all let me set a background color, right? So let me set a background color maybe violet for now, and then for the bottom div, something else I can do is that I also need to set a background color so that it actually is visible. Let me just set a background color maybe black. Now this is where the interesting part comes into play. First of all, we can set a flex direction. So if we want our two divs to be one on top of one another, then we set it as column. However, if we want them to be left and right, so side by side, then we set it as row. However, we want them to be one on top, one on bottom, so we set it as column for now. So we set the flex direction as column. Then what I can do is I can set flex 1 to top div and flex 1 to another. So what it does basically is that it adds all of the flexes and then it returns a ratio. So right now there's total number of flexes is 2 and 1 over 2 is 0.5, so 50%. So the top div will be 50% and the bottom div will also be 50%. So if I reload my screen, you guys can clearly see that the div was divided into two portions. If I want to make the top portion a bit bigger, I can maybe increase the flex to 2, and so now it will be 67% and this will be 33%. So this is how flex basically works. So now that I have this, I can now I can style my top div. So in my top div, I need two divs. I need a top left and top right. So let me go ahead and make that. So in my top div, I can go ahead and I can make two new divs. I will call the first one, I will give the first one an ID of maybe top left. Then I'll give the second one an ID of top right. Now let me so in the top div, I want them to be side by side. So the flex direction now will actually be row instead of column. So flex direction, and I give it a row. There we have it. Now let me actually define the styles for the top left and top right. So we have top left and top right. Excuse me, top right. Now, let's say I want to give a background color to top left just to distinguish it for now. So I can give it a background color, maybe blue. And maybe I can give top right a background color also. Maybe something a bit greenish. Now I can just give both of them flex 1. I could give it 0.5 each. Really, it doesn't make a difference. As long as it's the same, these two will also be the same. So if I reload my screen, oops, have I made a mistake? I set top left and top right, and I actually have to give it 1 each. And one thing I did, actually I don't have to give it 1 each, but one thing I didn't do was that in the top div I didn't say display is equal to flex, something I need to do. So if I reload my screen, you guys can clearly see that the top div is now divided into 2 sections, and it goes from left to right. It's not bottom, it's not top and bottom. So let me just change the color of the top left, so it looks like it appears to be like dark blue. So let me change that, so I can maybe do go to blue, and then maybe give it like a dark blue, be something like that. So if I reload my screen, I think that looks a bit grayish still, maybe a bit more blue, so maybe a bit there, and yeah, that looks good. Now in the top right we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different divs, and we need different colors. So we can make 2 classes, one for the white divs and one for the red divs. Now in the last tutorial I actually was calculating the height of each. It wasn't bad, obviously, it was just 1 division. However, we don't have to do that because we can use flex. So first of all, let me just say display flex for this, and now we want them to be one on top of one another, so we say flex direction is actually column. And now let me make the 7 divs. So I go to top right, and this time I use class since we're going to be reusing a lot of code. So let me make one class equal to red, so tr-red. Tr stands for top right. Then let me make another div with a class of tr-white, so tr again stands for top right. Now I need to make 4 red ones and 3 white ones. So I have 4 red divs. Now I need to make 3 white divs total. So let me copy and paste this last time here. Now I can actually go ahead and style them. So let me style the red one first. So obviously it's a class, so I have to use a dot instead of a hashtag. So I use tr-red, tr-red, and then so I can give it a background color first of all. I want the background color to be red, and I personally think crimson resembles red and it looks pretty good, so I can just give crimson as a color, background color. Now all I have to do is just say flex is equal to 1. Lastly, for tr-white I can do the same, except I just have to change the background color to white. Shouldn't be too hard, so I just change this to white. And now if I reload my screen, we should get these stripes. There we have it. It was really simple, just 2 lines of code, no height, no width. We didn't have to define any of that. It's very simple. Now I think the top looks really good. Let's move on to the bottom div. So again, in the bottom div it appears as though we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divs, 3 white and 3 red. So again, we will be using classes as we can reuse a bunch of code. So let me make one div with a class of b-white. So b stands for bottom. And let me make another div with a class of b-red. Again, b stands for bottom. And now I need to make 3 white total and 3 red total. So let me put the red ones. So 1 more red, 3 in total. And now we can simply go ahead and style them. So let me go ahead and say .b-white, and I can just copy and paste this code really. Actually, I don't even need to create new classes because I can just reuse the code from here. same logic really applies. So I can just say class is equal to tr dash white, tr dash red, tr dash white, tr dash red, tr dash white, and tr dash red. Because the parent of this, so bottom div, I need to first of all give it a display of flex, display flex, and flex direction, which we want to be a column, since there should be one on top of another. So a column. Now if I reload it, well, let's see if it works. There we have it. We didn't, so in the previous tutorial I had to make a new class for the bottom elements because they had a different width. However, since we're using flexbox, we don't really define a width or height, so we can just reuse the same code. So clearly flexbox is completely accurate. It does all your calculations for you. It just makes styling a lot more easier, and it's 100% accurate. So I would really recommend you guys using this. And so yeah, this has been a tutorial introducing flex to you guys. I hope it was enjoyable. I personally really enjoyed using it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, please subscribe. If you have any comments or feedbacks for me, please write it in the comments section. I will certainly have a look at it. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one. Thank you.